All right, looks like the recording is on. So again, thanks a lot for joining us, LaCrystal. LaCrystal was our popcorn extraordinaire for last year of 2020. Even in all of this mess with COVID, we're still here. So I'm sharing the Trails In, and I've got Alicia Pride with me, and she's riding along with me as my popcorn co-chair in this program. So the objective here now is to kind of figure out how we're going to schedule some popcorn shifts for the storefronts and maybe some other questions that we come up with. So we're on storefront reservations.
Mm-hmm. And then where you see add storefront with the plus sign, you're going to click on that. And here's where you're going to go in and add all your information. So Lowe's Home Improvement, that's going to be your first one. So you will put that information in with the address.
Lowe's Home Improvement date and then the address. Well, that's funny. Where do I know the address to be? Do you guys know where these things are? Or well, it says Nightdale, but
I Googled it because it's going to ask you. Yeah, it's going to ask you for the full address. Only because whenever these scouts sign up, it's going to show them where they need to be, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm looking it up and I'll chat it to you.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, you can drop it in the window there. So he's the assistant, and this contact name would be the manager of the store, or?
I actually didn't fill that information in. I only put in what was required. So if anyone had any issues, then they would just contact me.
Okay.
There's one. What's the next one? I can start looking them up.
It'll be Lowe's Food, Nightdale. Let me see. I'm gonna bring this over. If I can drop that into here, then everybody can have access to it. Let me see if that if it's going to allow me to. Probably not, because I'm using corporate Teams. I don't know why it wouldn't allow me to. I know why it wouldn't allow me, because if I was talking to somebody and I was sharing, company information. But anyway, that's okay. You guys should have a copy of it as well in your emails as far as the schedule is concerned.
Yes.
But the next one is Lowe's Food Nightdale. Tell me if you can see that now.
I put those in the chat. I'll look up the other one.
Okay. Address 1, email address. And is that phone number is supposed to be one of us?
Yes.
North Carolina. Suppose if we get a few of these done, we don't have to spend the entire time with you on the phone doing it. I mean, and then enter the event registration date. So we know the first one here is going to be September the 18th, which is a Saturday. That's our first one. And let's talk about time. You know, we don't know how this COVID thing is going to turn out. So I was thinking, and just give me your advice and leadership on this, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 2, and 2 to 4, and everybody's packing up by 4. Or do I push it to dinner time? You know, maybe we do 4 to 6.
I think I started at 9. So I did 9 to 11.
Uh-huh.
Then 11 to 1. And then 1 to 3.
And okay, and I could probably get a 3 to 5 in there. I'm thinking about 4 sessions here.
Mm-hmm.
I may have to modify it if we don't have people filling in, but
right.
Yeah,
Lowe's food is going to be your money maker.
Yeah. Lowe's food and possibly maybe not Food Line Battle Bridge. And I hear Lowe's food on Raleigh. We did it one year. That was pretty exceptional. So I've got that queued up for us. So,
yeah, the Food Lion on Battle Bridge, the first weekend we were there, we did really good.
Okay. That was in 2019. So, or last year.
No,
last year. Okay. So last year you had Battle Bridge and you had Petco, and that was it, right? Yep. They only gave you only the 2 spots.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is for that, the date and the time. So what that is when you want people to start signing up. So you may want to put that all at the same date. So if you're going to have a meeting on Tuesday, you say, hey, registration is now open at 8 p.m. Then people can go in and start signing up for their shifts.
And so would you recommend, obviously today is the 25th. Should I let Scout parents sign up, say, next week or something? I mean, do I want to let them have an opportunity to sign up so they're ready, or do I want to wait until the 14th when I have the announcement and then, okay, tonight's the night you may begin to sign up? Give everybody this open opportunity so nobody has more over the other. I don't know where to go with that. What do you think?
Yeah, I did it wrong last year, so I will admit that. So I would, put whatever date you're going to put, I will put something out to the parents like that day and say, all the parents, registration is open. See, I didn't say anything and I just had it open and people went in without my knowledge and signed up for shifts. So some parents, didn't get their first pick. Yeah. But I didn't think people were going to do that because I hadn't said anything. So I didn't think people were going to go in and actually sign up.
Understood.
Yeah. You want people to have the same.
Yeah. So whatever date you absolutely. I would definitely, put that date out there and then tell all the parents on that day, registration is going to be open.
Well, we could put something tentative in here. And if we decide to change it, then we'll change it, right? Up until we decide to tell them. So we know that the kickoff is on the 14th. That's when we're going to have the parents in one room and Brad's going to be out with the kids talking up and doing something else. And so if we just put it here and then maybe Brad or John or Rich or somebody will come back and say, hey, why don't you try it a week early? If there's some conversation around it, maybe I'll entertain that. We'll put a placeholder here and then of course, I guess 8 p.m. or something, or I mean, we're going to be at the church. So do 7 p.m. And that would be the first opportunity for them to do it. And if we decide to change it, I got to go to each one of them and change it. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's save that and we'll move on to the next one. So now we got Lowe's Home Improvement in here. I guess I didn't say how many shifts yet, right?
Not yet.
So
Yeah, I'll just
here's shift management.
Yeah, click on shift management.
Add a shift.
Okay, add a shift.
Okay. Yep. All right. So we're going to do.
And then you're going to go in. Now you're going to put your time frames in.
Okay. So we'll do, let's see, 9 to 11. Okay. And maximum of 2 scouts and 2 parents per. I mean, we'll start with that. I don't know if we should do 3 or not because it gets pretty crowded in there, right? What's your recommendation, LaCrystal?
Yes. I did 2 last year, just because of, COVID. You don't want too many people out there at the table, touching stuff.
I like that. I like the mindset there. Okay, so 11 to 1. Look at that. It just popped right up 11 to 1. I mean, that's really, some people may come back and say, well, why don't you have 3? Well, COVID. And then that's how we'll.
And they will.
So.
Yeah, I think a couple of shifts I did have 3 because of siblings.
Yeah, understood. So that's 4 shifts right there. That's 4 shifts. That's 4 opportunities. And these are weekends. So people are out and about. And, by 6 o'clock, people are at home probably eating. So we don't get as much traffic maybe at dinner time as we would 9 to 3, I would think. But do you like that? That sounds about right. What do you think?
Right.
Should
that sounds about right.
Will they only be able to sign up for 1 per day, 1 shift per day, or 1 shift per weekend, or how's?
Well, yeah, typically, Michael Smith says they sign up for Saturday from 11 to 1 and then they're done.
Right.
And that's how it normally goes, right? Now they if they were really wanting to, they could possibly sign up for Sunday. I'm not sure what kind of protocol we want to be able to say to the pack. Hey guys, don't hog it all.
Right.
That's
what I wonder.
I
didn't know if
look for what you want, sign up for something, but don't take it all. Because this isn't the all in that meets the end here. There are 3 ways to sell. Online is probably going to be the biggest one that we use in storefronts, where we're going into the storefronts and we're showing people, we're sending texts, or I'm sending out the link to our family and friends. We've got neighborhood sales and we got storefronts. You can't put all your money on storefronts. So certainly put some time in there and take advantage of the opportunity, right? So that takes care of this shift right here, right? And then we just have to go up and add another store.
Right.
Well, let's do one more. It sounds like that's pretty much straightforward. And I suppose they'll see it on their phone and they'll go in, and I don't know how that looks, but they go in and they'll see a shift open and they'll put their name beside it. Is that how that works?
Yep. Okay. Right. So they'll be logged into the app. So they'll just go in, and I think it'll say something like sign up for this shift or something like that. And then once they click on it, they're signed up. If they need to withdraw themselves, they should be able to do that themselves through the app. If not, you can go in and withdraw them, because I know I had a couple of kids sign up for a shift and they didn't show up. So I had to withdraw them so they wouldn't get credit for it.
Okay. North Carolina. We got to. This is this. I think I
Are
gotta
there
go.
multiple dates for a location, or there's just one date per location?
You mean one store? Well,
Yeah,
it's
one
this.
store.
It's the same store Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, so you have that. Because I saw there were 4 shifts, but do you have to add Sunday as well, or
Oh,
to that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you did that.
So what you're saying is that there's another. I wonder, is there not a duplicate button?
You have to add the sites
Um,
again for the next day?
Probably. I
When
mean,
you Oh,
oh look right there. What is that?
yeah, what's that? Site
Site copy.
site copy.
That sounds
Okay.
pretty good.
Yeah. See, last year there was just one day a weekend. That was either a Saturday or a
Right.
Sunday. We didn't have both days. So
Right. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. So that's so site event registration begins this, but I don't, save copies. So something's sell date. Here we go. 21st of September, and then we do the 18th. We do the 19th. Close and go back. So now that date is inaccurate.
you can go in
You
and
can edit
change
it.
it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The 18th, excuse me. And then update. So we got the, okay. I want to close that one. There we go. So we got the 18th, the 19th,
Yep.
4 shifts for each time period. I mean, we could extend it if that conversation comes up amongst folks that want to extend it, but there's a total of 6 opportunities throughout the popcorn season to be able to do this. Let's try one more here. There's
I put Lowe's food in the chat. Unless you want
you did. Yeah, I want to go by. I want to go.
those in the chat.
Yeah, let's go by in order here. Lowe's food, Nightdale, because we do have one in Raleigh, and let's see, Nightdale. Two 7-5-4-5. And do all this again. Two 7-5-4-5. All that looks good. Put a number here.
The sale date.
Sell date.
date.
Change. Let's find out, what is that sell date?
Is it the next weekend or is it the same weekend?
It's
No,
it's the following, so it's the 25th.
September. Okay.
September 25th.
And you want to change the into registration to the 14th?
Yep. and change that to 7 p.m. All that looks kind of right on. Did I put any site instructions? Must sell
I don't remember.
10,000. 600 per scout. That just is the goal.
Mhm.
I don't know. They'll see something, right? Okay, so we've now built part of that, and we're gonna duplicate this one to the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
You probably
Close.
should have made the shifts first, huh? Then you
Oh,
could just duplicate
oh,
everything.
and then just kind of go back and duplicate. Yeah. Well, again, this is the first opportunity. We won't sit on this call just replicating, but we got at least a couple in here. And you mentioned you put 2 more in the chat, right?
Yeah, I did.
So
Bridge and Petco.
I'm just gonna copy those over to a notepad, and then we can bring up a couple other things that might be on our minds. Battle Bridge. So then we get all those built.
And I can help with that if you want me to.
Yeah, absolutely. I might just have you run with that once we're done with the call. You can just build it if you like.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be built. And let me go back to kind of the topics that were on my mind, and Alicia, if you've got something to, so create the Trails in schedule. Looks like we got that underway. Come up with a reasonable order for council. So let me bring this into view so that we can kind of discuss, how much do we want to entertain? What is this thing going to look like? Because I don't say the majority comes by way of storefronts, but let me see. Here we go. See if I can copy this off to the right. You guys can still see the screen, correct?
Yeah, we're seeing a spreadsheet.
Yeah. And what I wanted to share here is that this is the product line for show and sells. We've got salted caramel. Obviously, one case is $300 because there's 12 in each case, right?
Yep.
Okay. And when you developed, LaCrystal, your amount that you thought we wanted to go with, I'm sure everybody had a little input, or maybe, go conservative. We don't know how COVID's going to change on us. I just was throwing in some arbitrary numbers because I had no idea what to think about. I can tell you that we had about $700 worth of salted caramel that we ended up giving to fire and rescue. We had it left over, and Tom Maynard, who was our chartered organization rep for the church, I said, look, we've got this. I've come to the church, we've tried to sell it, and we've just got leftover. So we're at a point, nobody else is buying anymore. We're going to donate it. We don't have another choice. So the fire departments got some nice salted caramel. I don't know if the salted caramel sells as well, unless you've got some statistics around that. I think it's kind of lower. So I got these quantities here, but I might need to change these to cases. Like, how many cases do we need?
Yes. Yeah, because when you order it in Trails In, it's going to ask by the case, not the actual quantity.
Oh, I see. So I'm actually going to place this order with inside of Trails In which will go over to council. All right, maybe we can
Correct.
take a peek at that after we kind of figure out some number situations here. So we've got this
Sure.
sweet and savory, which is a box, and it includes probably the kettle corn, sweet and savory. So I think it's the sweet one and something else, but that's $40. So
Okay.
pre-popped 6 ounces. Sweet. I wish I knew what that entailed. Sweet and salty. Why that says sweet and
See it
salt.
below? Sweet and savory collection box.
Oh, there we go. White cheddar and salted caramel. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we guys
Okay.
thinking about? And that right there is $40 each, one per case. Would we entertain one per weekend or no?
I don't know if anybody.
I started out with, I think I started out with 4, and it probably took a couple of weekends to sell all 4 of those.
Okay.
But,
So let me put 4 in here. So so you're saying there's 4 and there's 6 weeks to sell 4 of them. Now I know I can go back to council at some point if we felt like these were really rocking and rolling. Okay.
Right.
So I put 8. Let's do 4. Does that change my number? It does change the number. That's because that is a box, and I don't have the formula set up here just yet. But all right, salted caramel. We're talking about, and we're only talking about storefronts right now because I'm going to try to categorize people that want to do neighborhood sales, and then I'll modify the numbers over the course of the next couple of days. So, all right, how many salted caramel are we thinking?
I started out with 2 cases.
So salted caramel, and we ended up probably with a couple cases. So let's just
because I ended up getting more than I should have. So I definitely would start that low because that was not a good seller at all.
Okay. Do we think 2 cases? That would be a total of 24. You got to keep in mind, I got to have some product to sell. So on those weekends, and we went from 2 storefronts last year. Now we're up to 6. So that probably gives us some functionality to maybe consider at least 2 boxes.
Right.
2 equals 24 bags. And so that's $300 per case. Equals 300. So wait a minute. So there's 12 in each. So let me just do this. I know I can get away with this. I just don't like math. 2 boxes. So that's 24. Boom. All right.
Yep.
Kettle corn. I mean, that's a pretty hot one, right? Sweet and salty.
Yeah, I think is that kettle corn in a bag, or is it in a box?
It's in a bag. It's right here. This purple bag.
Okay, so that's a new one. So and we didn't have kettle corn at all last year. So I don't know about that one. I maybe would probably start with 2 boxes as well.
Okay, so 2 boxes of that is 24. And we'll see what this number is going to turn out to be. All right, here goes the unbelievable butter. A case is $120, and that's 6 in each case. So how many cases? I put down 40, right?
I started with 4 cases of those.
4 cases.
And that ended up being a a really good seller. So I was back at council probably every week.
So let me just throw in 8 here just to see. I'm gonna throw in 8 boxes. Keep in mind now. Again, I don't want to mix these up with what would be down here in the neighborhood sales if anybody does it. I know of a couple people that'll do it. I'll be one of them. So 8 boxes. So there's 6 in each case. 8 times 6 is 48. That sound about right? All right. How about white cheddar?
I started out with 4 of those as well.
4 boxes and 4 times 6.
Yeah. That was a good seller also. So.
Okay. 4 times 8 is 32. Okay.
I don't know if you wanted to bump that up to 8 also. That was just as good as
I got to think about it.
Unbelievable.
All right. So the white cheddar. So that's 64, right? White cheddar 8 and 8 is 64. All right. And then our popping corn jar that we had these last years. Christina and I bought it. I got to go down and see if she even used it all. I think she did because she bought something from Bed Bath & Beyond, like a little red popcorn popper thing.
Those were just available online last year, so I didn't have any of those.
Let's see. Is that in here? Your popping corn. Okay, so maybe you're right.
Yeah, we can't have those.
I should have put an X there. Unbelievable butter, popping corn. Oh, the jar right there. So it looks like we can order the jar. Let's see. They're $15. If we did 1 per day, that'd be 1 per weekend, right? That's two in weekend. That'd be 12. That seems like an awful lot. People going to buy this, or what are you thinking? How about 6?
How many come in that case?
Okay. That's a good point. There's 9 in a case. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking like 6 total. Sounds like one box worth.
I agree.
Okay, we're just playing around with options here. 1 box, and that is 9. Yeah, that's healthy right there. Still scaring me a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what was your total number that you had asked from council with 2 stores?
I think it was around like 5,000.
Okay. All right.
Not too bad then.
Okay, so versus in 2019 they were ordering like 20,000. So.
Oh my goodness, they went out. Well, they went out the gate big, right? Because we had already proven the track record of 20, 23, 25, and so we had some game. We had 22 people selling that year that we did 35. Even though we had 30 some scouts, not everybody stepped up to it. Okay, well let's see where this goes. So 1 box. And we'll come back to the council if we need to. Caramel corn. There's 12 in there.
So I started out with 4, but I think I ended up getting like 8 for the first order.
8 boxes. 8.
12.
What's 8? Yeah, what's 12 times 8? 16. That's 96.
Yeah.
Yep, that's how many I started off with.
All right. So now keep in mind, we've gone from 2 storefronts to 6. We have a $22,000 goal. I'm just going to be a little clueless. That's all.
I think we should reevaluate at the second weekend.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah, I would definitely start low and get
Yeah.
more versus starting big and then end up
And
with
then
a
I'm
whole bunch of
stuck.
popcorn left over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I have to get a question out to council and say, hey, if we just have this incredible selling situation after the second week, were you guys taking more orders? I'm sure they will. I mean, if we're selling, they're gonna find a way to give me what I want, right?
Yeah, yeah. As long as they had, what I asked for, when I
Yeah.
called up there, she was just like, "Come get it."
Okay. I think they probably have a little side thing with Trails In that we don't know about. That they can get stuff done. We don't want a weekend that comes up and then we don't have product. That's what
Right.
would scare me.
Right.
All right, let's
Right.
talk about neighborhood sales here. We'll keep this number. I mean, this looks pretty good to me. I mean,
Yeah, I think
and
that's a
you
good
actually
start.
had these boxes for the whole 6 weeks that you did it with 2 stores, and this is kind of where, and so we're right in the ballpark. Hopefully that
Yep.
can double. That would be pretty impressive if we could. We're just going to have to see. So on neighborhood sales, how does this potential kit look for one person, let's say? I can get rid of sweet and savory if you don't think we should do the sweet savory. That probably ain't going to cut it, right?
Probably not.
Yeah, I didn't do any of those. Last year was the cheese lovers box. I didn't give any of those out in the neighborhood kits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the kits, what I did is I did 2 of each flavor, except for the caramel corn. I did 4.
Look at that.
In each kit.
All right, so I got 2 in each.
You got it like almost perfect.
And then now the popping jar. Do we want to forego the popping jar because people are going to see that? Hey, man, that's this work that's got to be done. If I got rid of that, that's $210.
Yeah, I don't think I would put that in the kit.
Okay.
Maybe like if the parents, see that it's selling, they can ask you for it. Because some people did say, "Hey, can I get X, Y, and Z in my kit?" Because I know I'm gonna sell it. Then I would do it that way.
Yeah, and I had Brad at one point say, "Hey, can I just tell you what I want?" I'm like, that's going to become potentially an administrative nightmare if I just say, I mean, this right here, I mean, you got 2 bags of white cheddar, 2 boxes of Unbelievable, 2 kettle corns, 2 salted. If you go out and sell these, great. We'll make some provisions and we'll take care of that. We'll get you more, but
yeah,
so that's a total
you could always
of
give them more.
That's 12 items. Now, what I'm going to be sharing with them, if they decide to sign up for neighborhood sales, you own it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, Christine and I, for the last 5 years, we've gone and sold $200 to $400, maybe even closer to the 400 mark in our neighborhood. So you just got to be willing to, I mean, this neighborhood sales is almost like if your relatives are nearby, you're knocking on their door and saying, here. If they're neighbors that aren't nearby or relatives that aren't nearby, then you're using the link and you're using the hyperlink to send them to your Scouts webpage. And they're ordering online. Now, this year, it's $55 for free shipping. So I think Trails In found last year, I think the average was $30 and you can get free shipping. And they may throw in some of those deals along the way. For this weekend only, it's $40. But from what they were selling, right now it's $55. Now, otherwise, you're buying a $10 bag of popcorn and it's costing you, $5 to ship it or whatever.
$25 to ship.
Yeah, I think it's like $10 minimum to ship something.
Yeah.
So, what do we think?
I think last year was $7.99.
$7.99. I'll just put 7.99 last year. That was minimum, right? Minimum shipping. Better put the year 2020. Oh, it's a read only. Let's get this saved. So we like this. We think this is a pretty good consideration. We know that the chocolates and stuff like that, they're only doing them online, so they could do online stuff, and they can donate. I had a conversation with Brad last night, and he says we were talking about what do you do with donations that get put into the bucket, and he made a great point. I said, well, I saw something online where Trails In said, if you've got donations in a bucket, then we're going to advise you to go over and use that money in the American Heroes donation. And John Spinks and Brad said, well, sure, they're going to tell you to do that because they're going to get a piece of that pie. And he said, I don't see if they make a cash donation that's not traceable, why it wouldn't go directly to the PAC, not within the realm of the popcorn thing. And I said, I guess that makes sense. I mean, why would I take a third of that and give it to council and a third of that and give it over to popcorn people? Obviously, if we wanted to do something for military, or if somebody said, look, this must go to the military, then we honor that wish. But if they're just making a donation, then I would say that's how they've probably been doing it in the past here at the PAC. I don't know. Is that how we function doing this? So it just goes to...
That is how we function.
Okay.
So any money that's put into the bucket is just deposited into the account. So technically, the scouts don't get credit for it, but all that money goes towards the PAC.
The PAC budget. Yeah,
Isn't
that's
there
kind
a
of...
way to use the app to put it...
Distribute?
Yeah. I forget what they were saying at one of the meetings.
I thought if it was going to be... That is the caveat around there is how would they get credit for... Do you know how much we had in donations? Was it a couple $100? $300, $400, $500?
I don't know how much it was total.
Okay.
But let me see. I thought I wrote it down, but I don't think I did. Or maybe I wrote it on like the envelopes for like the weekends that they work the storefronts. Any cash, I just put it in an envelope and I will write it on the envelope, which I didn't keep those. So
you gave it to the treasurer?
Yeah, it would be a couple of $100 though.
Okay.
I actually did all the deposits myself.
Over to BB&T?
Yes. Jennifer gave me the deposit slips, and on like Tuesday or Wednesday, I would just go in and deposit the money myself and then keep the deposit slips.
Yeah. Brings up a good question.
So I didn't have to wait for her, give her the money. I was just doing it myself.
And then do you seek some kind of... Well, no, it just goes into the bank account. How did you prepare for...
Yep, it goes into the bank account.
How did you prepare for, Saturday's coming around and you only did one day, so this would be a repeated scenario for Alicia and I. Like, Alicia, maybe I'll take one weekend and you take another weekend, or however we want to do it. But in terms of preparation, you got your cases, your boxes together. I'm going to suggest that maybe you had a piece of paper that said this is Saturday the 18th, and I'm taking 2 cases of this and 2 cases of this, so that you knew exactly what the inventory was for that day.
Right. Need to keep track of that.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Down to the bag.
So I created a spreadsheet that I can send you guys, and you can tweak it if you need to. But it had, the quantity that I'm taking out there that I'm starting with, and then at the end of the day, the quantity that I'm bringing back.
Cool.
Had the amounts and everything on that as well.
Would love to have it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because you do have to put the inventory in. If you see
right
on
there.
that trails in where it says inventory, where it says no, so you're gonna put in, the inventory that you're taking out there. Yeah, so the system will calculate it for you, but so that you have it, on paper as well, I will write it down.
I see here popcorn orders. So when we actually make our popcorn sales, every end of every shift, you're coming back into Trails In and minusing out what you have in your store, if you will.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's
under inventory.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay, inventory.
Yeah, I can show you. If you can, if you want to click on the little arrow beside where it says inventory, then money owed, and click there.
Oh, right here?
Sorry, I'm bad at directions. Yes.
The little thingy.
Oh, inventory. Yeah, the little carrot. These are called carrots, by the way. It's weird. They don't look like a carrot, but they're called carrots. And then inventory?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so there you go. So starting out, first thing, you're going to put in all of your inventory, what you're taking out there. So if you're taking out, 4 boxes of the caramel corn, you put in 4. And then your transfer action, I don't know, I can't remember what's in the drop down. And then you'll do your reason, and then just go through everything. And then, yep.
See, and negative inventory. And we can't do anything here because we haven't purchased anything yet, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, you wouldn't do that until actually, you may want to do it like Friday. Like if you're doing it for Saturday, do it like Friday. And then of course, at the end of all your shifts on Saturday, you're going to bring everything back in and then
5 minutes left
start over again on Sunday.
I just saw something up here that says 5 minutes left in your scheduled meeting.
Oh,
well, maybe that's maybe it's only because I put an hour. I put from 7 to 8, but it won't disconnect us like Zoom, correct?
I don't think it will.
I didn't think so. Okay, it's just let me know. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm kind of new. I say new to Teams. We've had it for maybe about a year, but everybody seems to be getting Teams, and we're all learning it. But okay,
you can run reports. Looks like on your inventory.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
I said then you can run reports on your inventory. It looks like.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, you can run reports.
Reporting.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much cash would you leave in the box, in the popcorn, box, the metal box?
I started out with $70. And Jennifer I think she gave me the initial money, and she just kind of mixed it up in 1s and 5s and maybe a couple of 10s.
5s and 10s. You think 70 is fine, or because I can go to Michael and say, give me $100 worth of whatever, and then we just kind of. And then what happens? Do you always keep it at a minimum, $70 or $100, and then anything above that, you try to deposit? That's, I guess, it's cash donations. The only way that we're going to be getting any kind of cash.
Yeah, well, people will pay with cash too.
Well, true.
But aren't we supposed to? Oh, that's what I remembered. If they pay with cash, aren't we supposed to pay ourselves on the app so it can all be online?
That's if you're doing like that's if you're doing Isaiah sales, not for storefronts.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So
Yeah.
if somebody does pay in cash for a bag of something, then they're going to have to write that down that they took a bag of this and a bag of that. Or, they $25 for salted caramel or something.
Well, that's when your inventory is going to come in at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
what you have left or what you sold should match, the cash that you have,
that's true. And then, but
Oh, hmm.
and that does bring up a question. I've never done this in terms of using the Trails In app with the Square Reader. That's how
Right.
they put the Square Reader in there, or one of the little extra ones. I got to go get those charged. By the way, Alicia, I've got a box with the metal container for the change, and it's got card readers in there and that kind of stuff. But did you advise one person making all the transactions, or if someone walked away and they had their phone open, I realize that as an administrator, us three here, if I try to log into the Trails In on my phone as an administrator, it'll come back and say, you're like an administrator. You got to sign in as a
Right.
scout.
Yeah, you can't do it.
right? Yeah, you
And-
can't log in as a leader on the app.
Okay.
You
And
can only do it from like a computer or maybe an
or
iPad.
I get Christina's username and password for Christian, and then I'm logged in as her.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Right. I mean,
Yeah, so I think I had one parent log in to do the
swiping.
what's the reader called?
Square
Yeah,
Reader.
what you just said it.
Square.
Yes, Square. Thank you. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think I had one parent do it, but multiple parents can do it. Yeah, I think there's at least two of the readers. So
And when they're doing
whoever's
this,
working the shift, both of them can log in.
I suggest there, and I'll just have to get with Christine and have her log in and look at this. But when you're logged into the Trails In as the scout, when they go to process a sale, there's a button over there for storefronts. And I guess they go click on the storefront in order to view the popcorn item that they're about to process.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
We gotta practice that or demonstrate.
Yeah, because I mean, you know what? I mean, here comes a Tuesday and they're like, okay, what do we do? And I'm hoping we can prep this by sending out some emails in advance. I've been telling people in the past, go download the Trails In app. We are going to get some new scouts. We've got a total of 7 that are coming on relatively quickly here within the next couple of weeks. Got 3 applications that were underway for processing. I need to be able to get them into Trails In as well. Send them an invitation. And so if you didn't know that, Alicia, to send somebody an invitation, it's right up in here in the left section.
Mhm.
And you would send them an invitation. They'll click on, they'll sign their name, Pack 365, whatever, and they'll get into the system. But we'll have to go.
Meeting.
Huh?
I think we need another meeting.
Yeah. Let me see if there's I just had something on my mind. Let me see if there was another question.
Yeah, because I'll have to show you how to place your order.
Yeah, show me that. Is that over here? Popcorn orders?
It is.
So change the year and so forth.
Yeah, and that was the one that I kind of was playing with yesterday.
Uh-huh.
So if you click on view on that one, yeah, I didn't order anything, but it just showed them because I looked at it yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
Yeah, so under order, so CS stands for case, so it's asking how many cases of each you want. So you just put in the quantities of each, and then at the bottom, you see it says quantity, so it's telling you how many of each that you're getting, and you know, the base commission, how much you'll earn from it, and then the retail price of all of everything that you're ordering.
And I've got a little conversation going out with council about changing this. I know I can't change this, but my argument to council, they want to give us 30, and they said, hey, if you beat 2019's number, we'll give you 32%. And I said, I wrote them a letter. I wrote them a note, and I said, you're going to try to make me do 2019. Do you know how much we sold in 2019? It's 35 grand. And I said, we sold 14,000 in 2020. And I'd like to find out anybody in council who maybe tried to compete against us, or anybody that even did 14,000 in sales. And I said, you ought to let us compete against last year. So there is some conversation on the table that I think that base might get changed to 32. I'm going to fight for it. I don't know if they'll give it, but anyway, so unbelievable. Let's just do an example. So we can keep this 2021 selling camp, but we can keep this module here that you set up.
Yeah, so you can save it as a draft. That's already in the Trails In app. I didn't do that.
Oh, this here? Yeah, it was just it's part of their makeup, right? So, yeah, I can just save it as a draft. So this would be, salted caramel, unbelievable butter. 8 boxes, 8 cases. Salted caramel, we said 2. Kettle corn. I mean, you got to make this simple, otherwise people will get lost. What do we say? 8 boxes of that popcorn. We said 1 box. Yeah, we can say this is a draft. That way it's built. 8 cases. 8 cases of that. Sweet and savory, we said 4. Why would you order American Heroes cases?
You won't need to do that until the end. So if, you know, somebody actually says, I want this amount of money to go to, you know, the American Heroes, then you actually have to order those, but that won't be until the end of all the sales.
Okay, yeah, so that's 4. So I could just do save as a draft. So what? Oh, that says a total 4,575. And if we were to repeat that, that'd be like almost $10,000. Yeah, I like staying low light here because I mean, once we start to hit the campaign hard, I mean, you can already tell we've only done $1,300 in. Let me just save this as a draft. And at some point, I just hit the order button, huh?
Yep.
And 9/15. Where was that? Where did that date come? I think they said the date could be 8:30 is when we had to give the popcorn sell by. We need to give that order by. Did you put that name in, or was that already in here?
It was already in there.
Yeah, popcorn show and sell. I think we had to put our, I don't know what that date signifies other than 8:30 is the day that we would place the order. They said, council said that's when. Doesn't look like I can change the name of it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So that's fine. I mean, but I mean, would I come back in here if I wanted to order more down the road? and
Yes.
increase quantities. Alicia,
Yep.
what do you think of that? You think that order that's a start, right? We'll see where we
Yeah.
land, and we'll see where we land in 2 weekends, and then because I
How
mean
long?
things slow down, don't they? After
Yeah, I mean, starting in September.
like after
October.
about a month, everybody's been sold popcorn. Who wants to buy popcorn anymore? You know.
Right.
Right.
How long does it take for it to come in once you place your order?
I've got an answer for you.
I was gonna say it should be in the booklet.
Yeah. Yeah, let me find it. Council says that there's a drop-off day that you and I can go and pick up. Let me see. I'm bringing this over into the window. Now let's open up this resource guide.
I think if the orders are due on the 30th, they have to be in before your show and sell date. So I think it's that week, the week of your show and sell date.
Yeah, show and sell delivered to council on September 15th, right here. So we have our kickoff on the 14th. We can pick up the popcorn on the 15th, and then September 18th popcorn sale begins. Then it's game on. And so I'm going to get Christina to log into her app. And then the thing is, can I practice this exercise where I go click on, because people will not have signed up until the 14th of the evening, at least at this moment anyway, unless we revise it. But to go through the exercise, that we need to be able to communicate with them that you will not be selling as your child scout. Because you're at a storefront, you got to click on the storefront button. And then it's probably self-explanatory from there, isn't it?
It is, but the storefront button is not going to appear until their shift. So you won't see it until, 9:00.
Yeah.
Then it'll show up in their app that they're selling for the storefront. But then at 11:00, it's going to disappear.
Oh, on their app. And the other person that has 11, I think that, so there's no potential problems with somebody. Now, how about neighborhood sales? Is that a separate button for them to click on neighborhood sales? Do I need to do something?
It is.
All right. So here's storefronts. If I know in advance,
you don't
people
need
that
to do anything for wagons.
Oh, for wagon sales? They'll go click on the wagon sale, and they'll have $10 bag of popcorn, and they will give it to the person, and they'll click on the $10 button. It's come up here. You can manually put in your credit card, or you can swipe this swipey thingy.
Right.
Pretty straightforward. Okay, I'm feeling comfortable about that. One of the questions that John came up with on September 11th, which is a Saturday, we're going to be in Nightdale Station Park, and there's going to be a big car show. The Troop did it a couple of years ago. They had 70 exotic cars or fast cars or all kinds of really hip cars. And the Troop cooked up the night before, barbecue and that kind of stuff. One of the questions was, could we create a storefront for that day? The thing is we're not going to have any inventory. So people are going to have to purchase online. Is there a way to do a storefront that forces them only to purchase online? so that it can be shared amongst, and that's assuming, we're going to be selling popcorn, and we're going to be selling slushies, and the troop's going to be doing barbecue and that kind of stuff. But we probably want to be able to solicit popcorn, and so could you have a storefront of any sort like that where you don't have inventory, and then the people that were able to sell something that day,
you could.
We just don't have inventory at this point. That's the real problem.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, I would create a storefront saying that we had the popcorn, and we'd have the popcorn there on site, and we'd be able to just do it just like a regular storefront. But
right. I guess you kind of could.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would look like though, without having the inventory.
That's true, because you can't move any inventory in there, so it has to be. There's just not a dummy link. Well, how about unless you used one scout's account, one scout account. Let's go to dashboard here.
How can you give the credit though?
Well, I'm thinking, do we have the ability to move credits around in here, LaCrystal, where
you don't?
Oh, okay.
Not anymore. They did have that option for 2019, but in 2020, you can't move sales from one scout to another. So even with siblings, you have to sell under both accounts if you want to try to get them equal. If that makes sense.
I got you. And then in the storefronts here, the money takes care of themselves. If they work that out, I mean, for that shift, do those monies get divvied up for the entire day to each individual that signed up on a storefront?
No. So all the money stays in the cash box. So nobody should be taking any money anywhere.
I meant when they a customer purchases a salt and savory and it's $40, and then the next shift there, so throughout the day there's a total of $600 in sales. Each scout that signed up for their shift, does the Trails Inn divide up that those dollars just kind of magically it gets divided up?
It does. Yep.
That's beautiful. So you didn't have to do anything. It was
it looks like this.
If you did a storefront and you brought in $1,000, it got divided up by the participants that were there.
Right.
Now, if there was somebody that didn't show up and I had to stay there, right, and I've got Christian with me. Well, not that they didn't show up. If nobody signed up for a 9 o'clock shift, well, I'm going to have to be there, or Alicia's going to have to be there, whichever weekends that we kind of rotate on or figure out, or however this is going to work. I can tell you, Alicia, I'm going to be as dedicated to this until the end of time. So just depending upon, I mean, it's like, Brad's like, hey, you're going to go camping at the end of September? I said, no, I got popcorn. I am fully dead. I said the only time that I might be able to go camping if there's a window is if, for example, Alicia has a weekend or she takes over a weekend, then I'm not doing it, and she's kind of in control of that one. Then that might free me up, but the likelihood is probably going to be slim, especially the first week. Alicia and I are trying to figure this out, and we're probably going to co-dominate certainly the first weekend until we get things under our belt here. But well, you answered that. The system automatically divides up the money that goes from those sales. This sounds like this is really pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So if you see up where stats is, it says split method for the day. So all the sales are going to be split between your scouts for that day.
Look at that. Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Obviously, and again, what do you do if somebody gives you cash for a bag of popcorn? does that get, because this is assuming everything was done electronically, but if somebody pays for a $25 bag of popcorn.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you go under, if you scroll down a little bit, and then under site info, it says manage cash.
Mm-hmm.
If you click on that, and that'll show you how to manage your cash. So you're going to start with that $70 or $100 every day. And then at the end of the day, you're going to count how much cash you have. And then you're going to put it in the system.
Yep.
And once you put it in the system, then it'll split the cash.
Yeah. And obviously inventory, we're checking how many boxes we have left or how many bags, whatever's left over in inventory. You're at the inventory place here and you're modifying what is left over or what was sold, whatever, right? Everything comes right back to Trails In.
Right. Exactly.
Alicia, you got any questions up to this point? This sounds like they took all the hardness out of it, LaCrystal, and they said, here, we got to make it simple for you.
Yeah, they did.
Straightforward. I just want probably some more time to get into the weeds of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you wanna finish up?
A lot of stuff I learned just by trial and error, honestly, because Staria and Esther, they didn't use the Trails In app in 2019. So a lot of stuff I kind of learned on my own.
Oh, that's true.
They
were doing Square, and it was a little different because they were using the Trails In app, but they were using the Trails In app. Didn't incorporate Square. Square was almost kind of separate. We had to log in with a Square account and things. The 2020 has definitely been modified for a sweeter experience.
For sure.
So, and that Trails In has a relationship with Square, and that's why when you plug in a Square app or you're using Square, it identifies with a Square reader, it understands it, it takes the transaction, and it's all kept in house with Trails In. So that's different. So Alicia, you want to be charged with putting in the rest of the? You got the spreadsheet, right?
I don't see it. Can you send it to me?
Oh yeah, sure.
Actually, can you send it to this email? Hold on.
Yeah, and this one I sent out, by the way, 8/24, which was yesterday at 10 o'clock. And let me just hit the forward button here.
I just put my work email in the chat.
Okay, now let me ask you something. We've been having it going to Alicia P7 at Gmail.
Yeah.
Is that? I can have both. I mean, if you want to receive correspondence from me or whatever, I can add the Cineas Health in here as well.
Yeah, I just got
both,
locked out of my Gmail on my work computer.
Oh, you can still get it.
Forbid us to use Gmail now.
Well, now does Michael work at Cineas Health as well? How about that? All right. Okay, I'm sending this to you right now, so you'll have some dates and stuff like that. Let me see if I've.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I got it, but I have to log into another computer or use my phone to look at it. But I want the spreadsheets, so that'll help.
Yeah, and I'll just give you this this snippet right here that has basically our dates, and then our pickup is delivered to council. This is when right here when we can, well, right here I guess when we can get it.
Okay.
LaCrystal, thank you so much for your time. Is there any other tips or tricks, or would you be around somewhere down the road if I need to text you? Hey, I got this scenario. Hey, Frank, here's how you handle that. And we can just do it that way or something like that. You know, I definitely want to be respectful of your time because you've given Alicia and I an hour and 22 minutes. And so I'm very thankful that you are willing to job shadow and give us the expertise that we need to try to, this is not for me. This is not Felicia. This is for the kids, and hopefully the continuation of getting these kids to be great citizens. And everything costs money these days. Isn't that ridiculous? So do you suggest I get $70 from Michael, or do you want me to get 100? What was your experience? Was 70 just fine?
70 was fine for me because most people paid, most of the stuff was $20. So they would just give you $20 bill. You only had to give them like a 10 back if they did caramel corn. So 70 worked for me.
Okay.
You want to do 100? I don't think 100 will hurt anything because you do have more storefronts, but I think 70 will work.
And how many cases would you bring to the first Saturday at Lowe's? I mean,
let me see. So I think I did like 2 cases of each, except for the caramel corn. I think I had like 3 or 4.
Oh, really? So 2 cases. Well, that's interesting because if I bring 2 cases, I'm pretty much bringing I'm bringing my inventory.
Yeah, and that's how I did it, honestly, because it was so unpredictable.
Yeah.
So
we don't know.
I didn't really know how things were going to go. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I pretty much took everything with me. And then, of course, I brought back anything that I didn't use and then went and got more I don't think I ran out of anything the first day. Yeah, I didn't run out of anything.
Okay. So bring a couple cases of those, bring a couple cases of each one. And that way you've got enough to take care of that first day. And perhaps, depending on how sales go, I mean, that's a lot of money right there. That would be suggesting that we were going to sell $1,000 or $500 per day. That'd be kind of nice. We'll just have to see how it goes. And you're quite confident that if we get really low here, we could go back to council and say, hey, we need another few more grand.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I went back to Alicia just about every week getting inventory from her.
Okay. And then you just had to drive down to the scout shop and pick it up.
Yep. And she'll have you sign a paper saying that you picked it up, and that was it.
And neighborhood sales, the same thing. You would have that just like me. If I came to pick up a show and sell box, I signed off on something, right?
Yeah. I'll send you that spreadsheet that I used for last year, and you can tweak it however you need it.
Oh yeah, beautiful. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. If it works, it works. I guess the next thing is, Alicia, I'll send an email out and say who's interested in neighborhood sales, and here's how it's going to run. Here's what it's going to look like. And then that way, because that being said, that might modify some of the boxes. If I know this in advance before we place our order before the 30th, I'll give them a date. You have until Friday to tell me if you're going to do neighborhood sales or whatever.
Right.
And if you sign up for it, you own $210, and here's what comes in it. And you can go sell to your friends and whatever. You can come back for more at some point. And then I would modify those, because this right here doesn't take into consideration. This is all storefront up here. I'd have to bump these numbers up slightly if I felt like somebody was really going to own up to a neighborhood kit or a wagon kit.
All right.
Wagon sales. All right. I think
if you need me before the 30th, I think that's like Tuesday.
Okay.
I should be around. You can just text me or call me, send me an email, whatever.
Yeah, it's a
And
Monday.
I'm yeah, I'm happy to help in any way that
Cool.
I can.
Sweet. Sweet. Alicia, you have anything else?
Nope, but the natives are getting restless.
Okay. Well, love to you both. Thank you again, LaCrystal, for taking your time. I think we should go ahead and end the meeting here because the restless ones in the background are saying, hey, you guys have done enough and I want my mom back. So let me see. Where's the stop button on the recording? Stop recording right here. Stop recording and transaction.